RC Underground Radio is your go-to podcast for everything RC.
Everything about Kirby's is awesome.
Especially the owner. He's so hot.
I could never find anyone like him on Tinder. For the record, I'm not on Tinder, just so you know.
I
Yeah, I was kind of getting worried there.
More of a grinder guy.
Each episode features top-notch guests, industry leaders, and you, the racer.
Do you guys realize how much it costs to be friends with this dude?
So, grab your transmitter, buckle up, and join us on RC Underground Radio.
Say words.
Here are your hosts, Dave Brinkman and TJ Greer.
All right, everybody, this is the night. We've talked about it for 2 years, and it's here. Our 100th episode. TJ, can you believe that?
I can, because we've been putting in work. By we, I mean mostly you, and then me just kind of being here.
Yeah. And we got to shout it out to Ryan Ratzoff, too, because Ryan, he put in a lot of these episodes over the years. So this is going to be the end of season 3. We take our little break over the summer.
We do. We owe that to Ryan. He's the OG Podfather.
Oh,
how about it?
Look at that.
There we go.
That's a T-shirt right there. So I got a couple of quick ones because, most people, when they get as passionate as TJ does, they say, man, how many energy drinks did he have? What I say is, if you start talking Exalt, yeah, TJ's just going to go wild. I got 2 questions for Kevin, and then you can take off again, Wild thing.
You got them for him. They're not for me.
That's right. One is, when you start a company like that, and even with your respectable long history with Trinity and all that, so you came into the game with respect. But was there a breakthrough moment or event that when it was done that day, you said, wow, we are definitely on the map. People saw us today. Was there a certain time when that happened?
No, not really, because okay. I like to think I'm my own worst critic. And I talk to some people and they're like, man, you guys are doing really good. And I don't discredit anybody that's involved with that sounding negative, but I do use it as motivation that we're nowhere near where I want to be. I think realistically, just coming off of nationals, you got to have a good product in the modified game. Mm-hmm. You got to have a reliable product, a consistent product. But when it comes to, the fastest modified motor and stuff like that, I would love to have that kind of aspect, but that's not the way the modified game works. You want to go faster, you put a different motor in. Mm-hmm. But there are things that we can do to help with the drivers. And like I said, we've got Mason Fuller, along with Seth Van Dalen. We got a couple great 8-scale guys. Got the young Fee Long. We do have a great team, but if we ever were to say that we might finally be on the map somewhat, it might be after this past weekend when Brendan Schimmel won the 2-wheel drive off-road nationals.
Okay.
It's really hard to say somebody dominated when they didn't win both classes, but hats off to Dakota. He's a good friend of mine. I couldn't have found a better person to beat us. But I'm not going to lie. I didn't go into that race thinking that Brennan was getting ready to lay the hammer down like he did. He came out of the gate and was just, just very, very in control of what he wanted to achieve. And that's really hard to think about when you got the young talent of Davey Bata, the phenom himself, Dakota Fend. Mm-hmm. You got obviously, Brock Champlin is a beast.
He's been on fire the last couple years.
Brock is so underrated mm-hmm. that I think that maybe some of his being young and being so talented at an early age and maybe not having certain, I wouldn't say guidance because that's not necessarily the right word, but maybe assistance with a wiser person to help you, because think about this. This is a kid's hobby. And some of these kids, young Tater Sontag when he was little, mm-hmm. I don't think they understand and I don't think they learn how to handle some of these high pressure situations. And it's probably nice to have not necessarily a father, but a a role model that can give you some guidance.
I mean, it's
You know,
tough.
teach you-
They don't. They're kids. You know, they're barely young adults. Let alone teaching them how to do a man and keep your emotions under control. And that's the biggest thing. You know, is
Yeah.
keeping your emotions under control, even when you're behind the 8 ball and you're losing, and come out on top. That's tough. You know what I mean? And to hear your name, you know what I mean? Well, it's tough for any caliber of driver, but they make it look so easy, you know, and that's why they're at the level they are.
Like Sanded Boucher. Like he goes to, he goes and he wins street stock at Chili Bowl. And how old is that kid?
He's 11, and by the way, he will be under the Exalt tent tomorrow, FYI.
Oh man.
Just saying. The tent's going up this weekend, and Sandin and Linlag are underneath it. So just FYI.
I mean, he's crazy fast. Sure, he's still got to polish his racecraft a little bit, but like you say, I mean, these kids, they're 9, 10, 11, 12, right in that range, and they run hard.
He's a Chili Bowl winner, and you know what he had in his car?
Yeah.
An Exalt stock 7.0.
Damn.
FYI.
There you go.
Well,
and he's a great kid. I mean, just humble, respectable, carries himself well. I mean, I've been at some shows, and yeah, sure, we highlighted him on a road show and stuff. But he comes up to me, seeks me out. Oh, hi, Dave. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming here to the track. And I'm like, are you 30?
He's an old soul.
Yeah. No, he's a great kid. Going to really represent the hobby just great as he gets older.
And that's becoming more of a rarity than the talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like with the video games, all the younger kids can drive to some extent, but where they're really separating themselves is their social skills, the way they carry themselves, and the way that they honestly control their emotions. And I'll be quite frank with you. I mean, anybody that knows some of the guys on our team, they know that I'm not going to go for some. I demand effort. I demand respect from our racers, but I'm not one of the manufacturers that thinks that you just wadded your car up when you were winning the race and you possibly were going to win a national title. I'm not that guy that's going to say, oh, dude, you got to sit there and not be pissed or anything.
Right.
I'm okay with respectable displays of emotion, because I think it shows that you care. And maybe that is frowned upon by other manufacturers that I don't find it that way. But, we got Jeff Stackwitz, and he invented the slammer hammer this past week. He came in and just from the moment he stepped on the asphalt or the concrete, I don't think he ever retained an ounce of good luck, and he just had a bad week where the owner of the facility, Eddie Henley, just said, you know what, I got a bunch of Traxxas radios. I'm going to put them all at the end of the beginning of the straightaway, at the end of the driver's stand, and for $10 you can slam one. And I think Jeff probably gave up about a 30 or 40 pack of beer on slammers.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, and if you look at like what you expect out of, the high level team drivers, you're asking simple things, and it's not a lot. You know what I mean? Even when we met, I was with Tekin, but with cousin Riley, and their help, and obviously talking to you about the brand and what I needed in my corner, and being able to say, hey, I'm going to make this switch for the best of my program. I don't regret it at all, but it was at the time, I think I qualified like that year 80th in like SE mod. It was horrible. I had a horrible year, and then I come back the next year and I'm 12th. You know what I mean? Like, going to transfer out of the B and I get dumped and broken. It is what it is. Live to race another year, but seeing the level of what you're asking for those drivers, like they do what they do because they're passionate, Look at someone like Jeremy Riley. He took Sandin under his wing. Sandin drives a lot like Jeremy, but he's quiet and he's poised, Some people don't like that. They think this 11-year-old kid shouldn't drive that way. Well, guess what? He learned from Riley. And if anybody knows Riley, or don't know, get on board. Beep beep.
I'll tell you,
Beep beep, MFer. That's the way. That's the way Riley is.
No joke.
But he taught Sandin to be that way. He took him under his wing. He taught him he drove him that way. So when Riley stepped away and Sandin's driving Riley that way, like it's back and forth. Now Riley's enjoying life, doing his own thing, and Sandin's out there taking the same thing he just learned from Riley, and he's applying it to the track, and he's dominating. But that level of poise and that level of expectation and respect on the track, it's on and off. If you're going to be a turd on the racetrack, I'll probably call you out on it. I think 2 weeks ago I had probably the worst days at the track ever. I kept hearing bad luck for me. It's not bad luck. It's just race etiquette. And you see more of that, and it's better in the off-road world than it is in the oval world, for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. I mean, here's a prime example. So Brennan TQ's both 2-wheel and 4-wheel mod, and in the 2-wheel main, he had some bad luck on the start, and he allowed Davey to get under him, and they both connected, and he flew off the track, and he said, you know what? I'm going to pull over. I'm going to save myself for A2 and A3. I've got the confidence that I can do it in a two race situation. And I wouldn't say it was Davey's fault by any means. It could have possibly been a restart, but that's the race announcer's discretion, and that's up to him. He didn't call it. Okay, fair game. No, let's move on. And then in 4-wheel drive, Brennan had a bobble in one of the runs and got pushed back, and him and Brock Champlin got into it on the last lap on the straightaway. I am standing on the straightaway right there, or watching on the straightaway, and he's probably 50 feet from the start-finish line, and he sat there, and he waited for Brock as he watched 1, 2, 3 guys go by, and he did. You could see he was like, I just want to go, but he waited for Brock to get marshaled, flipped over. You don't see that much in this industry anymore.
No, and
you really don't.
And so I don't call a ton of races, but I try and help where I can to help direct. We try and do the best we can to call that out. Hey, do the right thing. We gotta teach them, and we don't do a good job along a lot of the tracks saying, hey, this is what we're expecting. Do the right things. We've had a couple race directors at Brickhouse. Cameron does it. He'll call you out. It's not that he wants to be the bad guy, but he's going to be the guy that makes sure you do the right thing because it wasn't the right thing on the track. And if you don't like it, learn from it. Nobody wants to be called out. Nobody does. I don't care what you do. Nobody wants to be wrong either. But at the end of the day, like, I'm going to drive you really hard, but I'm going to drive you how I want you to drive me. So if I take you out, let me pull in and give you your spot back, and I'll get back in it. It's just it's tough. It's tough because we're going so fast. You know what I mean? And even if you guys see like snowbirds, usually once those cars flip, it's done. You know what I mean? Like same thing with some of the pan car stuff. Once they kind of get in that one wreck, it's done. But it's so fast and it happens so quick. You can't really give it up, but you're going to have to, you know what I mean? And now you're, 3 laps down and, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, and now you got to make it back up, but etiquette's tough, man. And, I think as a team driver for any company or any brand that you represent, I would not want to be a driver that's known as a dirty driver. Straight up.
No.
And it goes a long way. We had it at the Foam Oval Nationals. I had guys from 9 different states show up to run 1 RC cars, and we had one guy, and that happened to him. He was in the B main. He would have went to the A, and he made a move in the corner and didn't go well for both of them. Mark parked the car right on the front stretch and waited, and he didn't end up, kind of what you said, Kevin. 2 cars passed him. One of those cars went on and went to the A main. So he took himself out of the A main, but he's like, I'm not going to an A main that way.
I would, if I were standing watching that from the sidelines, I'd be applauding that.
Oh, absolutely.
I would probably applaud that, and I do it. I try and do it as much as I can, but I would probably applaud that more than I would somebody winning an A main.
That was one of the things that attracted me to you, as far as when we first met was that you are you're just a very charismatic person, and you're very much like me in the sense of, I mean, I had a local here. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and I think he was saying it in a bad way. But he asked a question, and my buddy said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. You don't have to worry about him telling you BS. He's going to tell you exactly what's on his mind."
Absolutely.
And I don't know if he was saying that as a compliment, but I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, that's that's respect and integrity. I think he was
Well, I
saying
mean,
it as a compliment.
I've seen you in moments that, in my opinion, I think that you handled the way that you needed to. I mean, I always say read the room. You know, you're over there thrashing on the phone, and at the time, you were on the phone with trying to get your flight changed at Chili Bowl. And so, one, you're already pissed about that. You had another guy coming over asking questions, but you were on the phone and you were also doing motorizer stuff. So you were like
I remember this.
You're doing double duty, and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm on the phone. Can you just give me a fucking second? Excuse my French. Bleep me if you want to."
That.
And I remember just thinking, like, God, I wish people would just read the room. You know what I mean? Like, even like when we talked about Exalt. Oh yeah, and it was RC, but. And you know what's really bad about that? I'm going to go ahead and call AJ out because I hope he sees this. For a year straight, that dude thought he was me or I was him.
RC Grove?
AJ did.
Really?
Yeah, and so like when we were at Chili Bowl this last year and we were setting everything up and getting things going, and he was like, "Hey man, you're not who I thought you were." I was like, "Whoa, what does that even mean?" And he was like, "Yeah man, I kind of thought you were something else, and I guess I just had a preemptive notion about you, and I'm sorry." I was like, "Okay, well, that doesn't hurt my feelings because it doesn't change anything." And then by the end of the week at Chili Bowl, you know, we're you know, calling each other, we're making sure he's home, you know, we're checking in with each other. But at the end of the day, I look at the approach that we had with, obviously at the time I was with Tekin, and it was never like a, "Hey man, what can you do for me?" We actually started talking about the logistics side from it, being that I have a logistics background. You know, and we're talking financials, and he was like, "Man, I'm in the wrong industry. You're making this kind of money doing what?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's what funds this dumb hobby for me, you know?" And, you know, that was just year one at when it was Trinity, you know, and then it comes back year two as Exalt, and, you know, things were different, you know, and we had built a relationship off it, and, you know, there was talks of what we could do for each other, and it wasn't so much, you know, what are you going to give me? You know, It was never what are you going to give me? It was what can I do for you?
Yeah,
you know,
how can you build the brand.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, because, you know, the branding. I spent a lot of time getting with Carpies to make this not look like your average RC car. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, and that guy, he did killer on these shirts too.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, Carpy did a phenomenal job.
I'm happy you guys like the quality. I'm glad you like the shirt, because I was pretty proud of them for making it look as epic as it did.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So thanks for talking about our sponsor, right? Mm-hmm. One of our marketing partners is Carpies. That's awesome.
He did a phenomenal job, so we got to give him praise.
Mm-hmm. We gotta give him props.
Absolutely. I mean, plus maybe we can challenge him to take the next shirt design and step it up, because if he can do better than this, I can't wait to see what that is, because this is my favorite shirt.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do in ceremony of Kevin, of you taking time to do 2 episodes with us, with this being the 100th episode, the first person at YouTube that puts in the chat, if you want to call it chat on YouTube, that they heard this part where we're talking about Exalt, I'm going to send them out an Exalt sweatshirt. So they just got to.
And I'll throw in one of these nice new T-shirts.
There we go. You're getting a shirt and a hoodie if you put in the description that you were listening to this, and you gotta
sweet. It's gonna be me.
What's the no.
It's gonna be me. It can't be me. It can't be me.
Family and co-hosts are excluded. No. What's the code word? Should there be Exalt, something with Exalt in it?
It's got to be like, what about one of our motors? What if it was like Specialized Phoenix? You've got to use the word Specialized Phoenix.
Okay, Specialized Phoenix it is. So the first one to say, I heard you talking about Carpies on the podcast. Or should we have it be something with Carpies in it and Exalt? Like Carpies rocks Exalt or something like that.
There you go.
Dig it. Sold.
All right.
Print it.
The best part is the longer we drag this out, that means they got to definitely hone in on a good chunk of the video.
Yeah, because the first one that does the Phoenix thing, we're gonna say, no, that wasn't part of it.
Yep.
No. Okay. Carpies rocks Exalt.
Boom.
Is that it? Boom.
We're gonna put it up here.
First one that puts it in the chat. I don't know, what is it on YouTube?
They're just comments.
Okay, see, I'm showing my age.
That's what I'm here
Oh,
for,
I'm the
Dave.
same way.
That's what we're. That's why he has AJ and you've got a TJ.
That's right. That's
There
right.
you go. It's just that extra
keep
J.
me current.
Yeah.
Keep me current. All right. Carpies rocks Exalt in the comments. So now I sound cool, right? So okay. So that's how it'll work. So that's awesome. Thanks for getting involved with that, Kevin. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, I mean, the faster we get rid of these, the faster we get a new design, and we got a pressure carpy for something better.
There we go. So, Kevin, let me ask you this question, and this is my last question, and I'm going to let TJ just roll. We've talked a little bit throughout both of these shows about drivers and etiquette and branding and whether they are a Exalt team driver, which I'm sure obviously they should be and are held to a higher standard. I think TJ kind of sets that standard.
Yeah.
Or if they're
Very much so.
A local racer who's just loves the brand, is so proud to be running Exalt stuff, but they're still out at a racetrack, and maybe today they're saying, and I think I'm good enough to be a team driver somewhere. I want to be a team driver. What do you really look at? What are the standards that somebody should say, hey, I'm getting my racecraft together, but there's so much more to it. Mm-hmm. So what's kind of that list that somebody should be thinking about?
I mean, I think that you're going to find a different opinion amongst different, team managers or
Yep.
owners, whatever you want to say. I mean, and honestly, for me, I like different. And what I mean by that is that was realistically, the definition of sponsorship isn't mean different, but what sponsorship stands for is it's a special thing. It's a rarity. You can go buy a diamond, but is it 1 carat, a 2 carat, a 3 carat? I mean, I know of individuals that have bought a 3 carat diamond ring and a 1 carat diamond ring and spent the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. It comes down to the rarity, and as sponsorship continues to grow so drastically, it's not a rarity anymore. It's pretty much almost an expectation. So I kind of look at the things that are difficult to do, meaning controlling your manners, being a good social media presence, assisting people trackside when they may need something, I mean, I don't expect another individual to do this because it's not their responsibility. But years and years and years ago, I learned something from still a dear friend of mine. We talk very little, but we could pick up the phone and we could carry on a conversation. Was Jose and Robert Molina? They used to run for Trinity, and we were at a local Florida race, and good Lord, Robert's sensor board on his motor took a crap right before the A main, and I felt so bad walking up. This is when I could still make an A main. I felt so bad walking up where he was going to be sidelined because there was not enough time to fix it, that we both were running associated cars at the time, that I just told him to take my car and race my car, because it was not my product, not my brand, but it was the brand I was representing, and it failed him. So he shouldn't sit out. I should sit out. And he absolutely, his dad for years on end remembered that. And that stuff matters to people. So stuff like that, I mean, not necessarily giving your car, because it's not your responsibility, and it's not mine either, but it was the product that I represent that had a failure. And I just felt like it was a bad way to, to do business if I walked up there and looking at my competitor sit on the sideline because the product that we push failed him. So I think doing things like that, taking the time to help people. I mean, realistically, like I said, be different, and I mean, if you look at there's no cookie cutter for the team drivers that are on Exalt.
Mm-mm.
We've got energetic people like TJ. We've got very docile people, and we've got some guys that they can, if you don't know them, they could rub you the wrong way.
Yep.
So it really comes down to make it kind of like what you said with that one guy. If I was sitting trackside and that guy that gave up the A main, he would have got my attention.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I mean, I hate to say it, you don't remember second, you remember first. And
you just got to remind him how to spell your last name, right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say, Kevin, that all those guys who have different personalities, but they all still hit the check marks, right? They would still help anybody. Right?
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, and honestly, there's a lot of racers out there that are with a brand because of a tie with somebody. You got Matthew Gonzalez at Hobby Wing with the Raymond twins. Those guys are, inseparable. It's not that the Hobby Wing stuff is not good. It's not that it's the best, but it doesn't matter what they have as a quality product. It's based off of the relations that those three share, or four if you want to involve Chris, the father. And I respect that. And I have the same thing with a lot of our drivers. I mean, I guess it's kind of the social way to say family now, but when I put Exalt family, there's 100% without a doubt, I mean family. One of the greatest things I enjoy about going to these out of town races is spending time with the racers. This past weekend at the Nationals, my previous experience getting an Airbnb in that location was a nightmare.
Yeah, it is down there. It is.
Yeah, I will never do an Airbnb again. So a buddy of mine got us the hotels, and he set it up where we literally had whatever section of the hotel we were in, we had the whole left side, the whole row where it was just Exalt driver. We had like 10 hotel rooms in a row, and it made it so much fun that I hate to say it, we probably, I'm surprised we didn't get the security called on us, because it was, I mean, if the doors could stay open, they were open, and we just walked from room to room to room. And that was the most enjoyable part for me of the whole Nationals, was doing that. And to me, that's because all of those guys, I will do anything for them, because I know they'll do anything for me. And that's really the culture that I think we bring at Exalt, and a lot of other manufacturers bring the same culture. But I mean, I don't want to say that they're fake, and I don't want them to ever say we're fake, when realistically, I mean, I think the best way to answer your question is just generally be a great person. Have your strengths. I mean, dude, we all are entitled to our moments of weakness. I mean, we're human. And whether you're making a living doing this or not, we are, as men, driven with testosterone, and we do lose our shit from time to time.
Yeah, because I'm strong like bull.
Right? So I'm not saying I condone bad behavior, but I understand that doesn't define you as a person. So I mean,
there's a difference too between being a jerk and just passion. right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's okay to
it's
express your
competition.
emotions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're competitive. It's okay to be boisterous and voice your opinion and let that driver know that he did you dirty. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, look at Aiden Horn. You know, look at that conversation that happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And there he was, hot on the mic. He, you know, loves him. He's his best friend. I don't know what he's doing. Why did he do that? You know, but that's racing. You know, whether that's oval, off road, bashing, crawling, whatever it may be, it happens. You know, and some people are different. They don't say anything. I try and be that person a lot of times, and sometimes I'm not. You know, and I try and do it in a manner that is respectable, but you understand. You know,
Right.
I would credit Walmart for teaching me how to do that, but yeah, it's servant leadership is probably the best word to explain what he probably looks for in team drivers at the next level. You know, whether or not,
Oh, absolutely.
and it's the willingness, and that's probably the best way to explain what he's talking about is the willingness to say, "Hey, I'll give you. I don't expect, I give." You know what I mean? And Dave, you know that from Toyota world. You know what that means. You know
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's all the key facets of what makes this hobby so fascinating, right? You brought up the part about when you were in the hotels, and
Yeah.
we talk about it all the time. It's the fellowship, right?
Absolutely.
It's that fellowship that you have. It's being a good, representative of the brand. I always like to look at it more as partnership than sponsorship. 'Cause to me,
Absolutely.
sponsorship is one way. I'm giving you this. Partnership has got to go both ways, right?
right?
And if racers think of that, of like, okay, yeah, I get some stuff, whether I get a free, whether I get as a discount, whether I'm just getting good stuff, that's the one way. The other way back is solidifies the partnership, and that's, like you said, helping others, being a positive representative of the brand. That's not asking too much.
Yeah.
That's being strong on social media, being strong on podcasts, being just TJ, he'll give away his whole box of stuff for people to go out and try it and say, here, I'm not making this stuff up. Run it. Here's your opportunity to go run it for free. You'll see for yourself.
I'll go to any big race, and I'll purposely, and Kevin knows this, I'll purposely buy more for what I think we're going to need, because if somebody else on the team needs something and we don't have it, I will make sure that I have it. And it's not because I want to be a retailer. I don't want to sell. I'm not there to do it, but I'm just there to support the team the best that I can. If that means that I carry an extra couple motors and some sensor wires and a couple extra rotors, and we try different things, and that's what we're going to do. Because that's what we should be doing as a brand ambassador, team driver, sponsored driver, whatever you want to call it. Call it what you want to. But that's what I expect from myself to be able to help, and that's my contribution as a thank you for Kevin believing in me and my brand and my racing. That being willingness to go out and, hey, first 2 hours of Chili Bowl, I'm soldering motors. That's money in the bank for these guys. If I'm putting motors in for the first 2 to 3 hours, that's great business. It's awesome business, and that's what it's about.
Well, and I hate to rain on your parade. I didn't believe in your racing. I believed in you as an individual, because if you remember correctly, I obviously you can't be in this world of social media and not catch some stuff in social media or this or that. So it's not that you were a complete stranger by any means, but you had already grown on me as an individual before you even got on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, the racing had nothing to do with you as an individual, but like I said, I know that I don't have to be at every event in the Midwest, because just like, okay, prime example, you having the Exalt tent. If I had enough tents to give them out to everybody, that'd be one thing, but I don't. So
Right.
The tents go to the people that are going to utilize them the best and going to represent them the best. And there's not a better person in the Midwest to have a tent other than you, so it's all about the character of the human being. Like I said, there's guys that are on our team that it's not that they're not great drivers. They are, but that's not even on the bucket list of the characteristics of why they are on the team.
Right.
That's just the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, you leave family. You know, I go to a national event. I leave my 2 kids and my wife, and you know, to prevent yourself from getting seasick, from getting homesick, put yourself around your second family.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
when you do, I mean, my wife, I don't know if she likes this. I don't know if she hates it, but I could almost go the whole week without talking to her. Like, we'll just send a text like, hey, I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And it's not that I don't miss them. It's that, for one, I'm 100% invested in what we got going on. And two, I mean, especially this year, I was joking around. We did an interview with the Nationals, and last year, AJ went to the Nationals, and I stayed back. And this year, I went to the Nationals, and I had never had my laptop out more than my motorizer. You know, it was a different change of pace for me. You know, for one, like I said, we just unloaded really good. I think on the motor side of things, and whatnot, that they didn't really need much of my help. So it allowed me to kind of keep up with some projects that we were working on, and stuff like that. So you know, so it cut away a lot of my track time. So that's where it made, even at night when you could come back from dinner and hang out. I mean, there was 1 or 2 nights where there was no partying, but it was a bunch of us sitting around in a hotel room and talking until like 1 a.m, knowing that we had to get up at 6 the next day.
Oh yeah.
You know, just because it's camaraderie.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's the best part of this hobby.
Well,
absolutely.
So, okay, boys, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up. So, you got anything you didn't get out, TJ, that you wanted to ask?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Is that okay? Is that okay?
No.
But I do have something.
All right.
I wanted to ask some questions if you're okay with that. I didn't hesitate because I don't like to waste time.
Okay.
Okay. So, Kevin, this part is called Quick Time. If you know what it is. If you don't, you're going to find out. You're going to learn today.
Uh-oh.
So, what this is timed, and I've got a series of questions. They are usually one word or something answer. It's not a yes or no, but it is something. I just need your answer. Okay? It's
All
RC related, usually track related. We'll see. There's a couple curveballs in there to see if you can swing and miss, but we'll put a timer
I
up.
will.
Yeah, it happens. We'll put a timer up, and then we'll see what your time is to answer all these questions.
Okay.
And no answer is a bad answer. Actually, the funnier they are, or the
Yeah.
more confused you are, the better they are.
I try not to laugh because when I laugh, it takes your time away. So, I mean, if they're going to be funny, I'm going to laugh. So,
Well, don't expect any record paces here, boys.
oh yeah,
Derek Carpoletti's were still the funniest ones.
Oh,
ever.
my gosh.
He'd ask a question and he'd go, "Yep." He had no answer. They were great.
nothing you can do with that. Is it? Yep.
Right. Yep.
All right. So, first, let me get my dog out of the way because she's 100% like wanting to be in this. Get down. Go. You want to go in a golf cart? Go. Go. Go.
She
I
needs
want a kiss.
That's right. She wants
You
a
want-
kiss from
huh?
Dad.
Give me a kiss. Come here. Bye. See ya. Okay. All right. So I'm going to count down. I'm going to go
I got the
3.
timer ready.
Yep. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. He'll start the timer after I finish the first question. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Favorite RC tool?
Body reamer. I don't know.
Nice.
Favorite trackside snack?
Goldfish.
Favorite local track?
I'm gonna go beach line.
Favorite out of town track?
Cochrane Speedway.
RC ick.
RC ick.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Ick is
you
like
don't
something
like.
you don't like.
Drives you crazy.
Oh, God, really,
ick.
really grinds your gears.
Poor sportsmanship.
Got it.
Nice.
White wheels or yellow wheels?
Oh, white.
Sprint or late model?
Sprint.
SC mod or B mod?
Go SC mod.
Midget or non-wing?
Midget.
Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor.
High bite or loose dirt?
High bite.
Blondes or brunettes?
Your wife
Redheads.
is watching. Nice.
Pepsi or Coke? Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Max rear steer or left rear only?
Left rear only.
Clean car or wait till it breaks?
Oh no, clean.
440 or metric?
Metric.
Trackside food or DoorDash?
Let's go trackside food. Just something different.
Ball diff or gear diff?
I prefer gear.
Steak or chicken?
Chicken.
Tire prep or dry tire?
Let's go dry tire. Something different.
Deep dish or thin crust?
Ooh. Thin crust.
Favorite fast food?
Chick-fil-A.
What's your order?
Number 1, larger the Dr. Pepper.
Ding, 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 ding. Listen, speaking of Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, this is AJ Marasco's go-to for every single
God.
meal. I don't know how this dude doesn't have feathers yet.
I know.
I don't know how.
He makes me feel like I hate Chick-fil-A.
So that was an everyday thing. It was, hey, we're going to go to Einstein Brothers, we get these bagels, and then it was like, what's for lunch? Chick-fil-A. Listen, by the time we were done with Chili Bowl, Cuz this year was like, listen, if I have to hear the word Chick-fil-A, eat another piece of chicken, I'm going to die.
That's exactly how I feel, dude. He'll eat it every day if you could.
Well, we did. We did.
Yeah.
And on our way home, driving home, we took pictures of Chick-fil-A places and sent them to AJ. And he's like, did you stop? What'd you get? Nothing. We got nothing.
That is probably the hardest thing with him and I working together, is because we do bump heads, and it's really hard to establish that boss employee relationship, because I try not to, and I really don't ever want to put on that face. But I try to tell him all the time, like, dude, like I want to see you. If I can go to a 9, I want to see you go to an 11. I want to see you do better than me every time, 100%. You know, I've known that kid forever, and as long as I've known him, it's Chick-fil-A, and I guess it used to be Starbucks, but I guess he's migrated from Starbucks to Dunkin' Donuts now.
Both. He's still white girl wasted on both of them.
He screams poverty, but he's bougie.
Oh, I know he is. He's bougie. He's bougie.
He's very bougie. Today he's like, can we get Twin Peaks for lunch? I'm like, damn, I was like thinking McDonald's or something, you know?
Tell him he's got to save that money for Simple Green. He'll get a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
All right, TJ, 100 episodes, man. We got there. Thanks to you. Thanks to Ryan Ratzoff. Thanks to Nick Saccone. So here's a trivia question. Nick Saccone was actually my first co-host. The first show I did with Nick, and then Ryan came on as a guest. And then I'm like, hey, and Nick's like, I don't think I could do this every week. And Ryan's like, I'll do it. And then Ryan and I took off. Similarly, the same thing happened down the road going into this season, and Ryan's gotten caught up with life stuff and work. TJ, you jumped in, and it's been wild thing ever since. And then we can continue to have great guests like Kevin.
Yep.
And Kevin, how about you? Can I get you on video saying you'll come back and do some more episodes with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys, it's like I said, today was a lot of fun. It was a blast, really. So, I mean, I really think that this is a positive thing for what we got going on in the future. You know, podcasts are like the new TV star kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Introducing Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, the ultimate solution to boost your grip and speed on dirt, carpet, or pavement. Papa Willie's gives you the traction you need to leave the competition in the dust. Just apply and watch your car stick to the ground like never before. No more spinning out, just pure relentless traction. Get Papa Willie's Traction Tonic and put the pedal to the metal. Available online. Visit papawillies.com today. Papa Willie's, where traction meets action.
Is your ride as exciting as a soggy sandwich?
Does your wardrobe scream,
I'm not trying?
Turn heads with Carpies, the place for custom wraps, apparel, and all things awesome. Want to look cooler than your neighbor? Want a wrap that makes your car the talk of the town? Want apparel that screams,
I'm not basic?
Carpies has you covered. Carpies, custom wraps, apparel, and more.
Because who wants to be boring?
Visit Carpies. Wrap your world. Wear your swag. Visit carpies.com today.
Yeah, it's so fun. All right, everybody. Again, though, we absolutely could not do this without you. 5,000 plus people check in every week to this silly podcast. And I'm going to stop saying I don't understand why. All I'm going to say is thank you. It humbles us. We have a great time doing it. But all the feedback that we get and seeing people with our merch and all that craziness is just, it's outstanding. What it does for the hobby, right? And that's all that drives us. We don't make any money doing this. Any money we get from our partners, we spend it all back in the hobby, whether we're buying trophies for races or we're helping build something at a racetrack or whatever. We're raising funds for racers so they can compete, like Rising Star program and things like that. That's all we're in it for, man. That's what drove us when we were kids and getting involved in this thing. And now we have a platform and we have the opportunity to give back to the hobby that's given so much to all of us and helped us all become friends like this. Meeting Kevin, meeting TJ, meeting Ryan.
Family.
Yeah, it's all RC fam, man. So, all right, everybody, we thank you again for tuning in to all these episodes. We're coming back bigger and stronger in September, but you are going to be blown away by all the shows that are going to be taking place, and they're filling the gap, man. This kicks off in June, so stay close to the channel. You just come right back here to RC Underground Radio on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms. You just come right here, and all the content will be laid out for you. So enjoy it. Keep commenting on everything. And again, thank you, Carpies. Thank you, Papa Willie's, for everything you do for the show and now for the channel. So super awesome. Everybody, have a great week. Stay tuned.
Thank you for listening to the RC Underground Radio Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your fellow racers about the show. Tune in again next week for more RC content.